Framing is a neurocognitive process through which our brain re-elaborates language unconsciously, promoting some interpretations instead of others based on the vocabulary, the register, and many other language peculiarities. A frame instead is the association of one or more words to one or more semantic fields. This can unconsciously lead us to think something we have never read nor heard. Among the main scientists in cognitive linguistics, whose study field includes framing but also economic decision-making, there are George Lakoff and Elizabeth Willing. Of all the studies which were conducted, the most symbolic and explanatory one is those carried out by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, according to which, by reading the phrase, "the eagle is in the sky," more than 50% of the experiment participants imagined a flying eagle with its wings spread out. These data, though, were not in the previous phrase. They have been added based on their previous experience, which is the already existing information in their brain. This process is used in politics by some politicians and newspapers to persuasive ends, from an ideological, electoral and propaganda point of view in the first case and from the economic point of view in the second one. As far as Italy is concerned, a politics jargon called politichese was very common until 1994. It was rich in abstract concepts and had a higher register compared with today's political language. Therefore, it had not a great impact on the public, especially in the emotional spectrum. Then, as Silvio Berlusconi entered politics, politichese has progressively been replaced with a simpler, more effective and convincing language. Berlusconi is regarded as the first meta-politician in Italy, meaning a politician who through a personal verbal and body language becomes also an ordinary person, an ensuring figure, a model, or an advocate of the people. Undoubtedly, Matteo Renzi has been his successor, who built his own rhetoric on the new that moves forward, with its will to renew the ruling class, as well as being proud of being younger than many politicians. Furthermore, he updated his vocabulary based on what he claimed to be the priorities for his country, for his party, or for himself. Until Renzi reached his popularity peak, verbal methods were mostly mild and rarely impolite, but with Beppe Grillo, there is another turning point in Italian political rhetoric. He is the right person in the right place at the right moment, namely a shouting comedian who is angry with the political class in its entirety, which is target of his insults, which often are not good political argumentations. The Italian comedian politician managed to gather crowds at numerous manifestations known as Day, and to capitalize from this condition by getting millions of votes in few years with his political movement. Politically correctness marches towards oblivion, this also thanks to the Five Star Movement and Luigi Di Maio. The undisputed champion in political rhetoric and communication of recent years is Matteo Salvini, enjoying an electoral consensus growing exponentially. Helped by Luca Morisi, Salvini managed to hypnotize, so to speak, many electors who follow him on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter and go to his speeches, so becoming not only supporters but also fans. Poor language and argumentations, slogans and conceptual metaphors are some of the linguistic means he mainly uses in speeches as well as in real and virtual statements. His favorite topics, thanks to which he could increase Lega's consensus, are immigration, security, Europe and values such as the so-called traditional family. Significant language changes over time took place in the English-speaking world as well. Ronald Reagan's and Barack Obama's speeches share interesting features such as expressing positivity and convey to the audience and the rhetoric use of religious faith, equal rights, freedom, peace, simplicity through language. On the contrary, Donald Trump has different methods and speaks even in an easier way in terms of vocabulary and grammar, and also with tougher expressions. All this, if put together with a wise and very frequent use of social media to the point that some say Trump now rules and makes official statements almost just via Twitter, makes him a very important politician and communicator in history. He also enjoys a large consensus obtained also by the use of strong words when it comes to immigration, economy, social and civil rights, gun ownership, foreign relations and fake news. One of the most influential political female figures in the English-speaking history and culture is of course Margaret Thatcher, a person who preferred action to words. Despite this, she was very effective in her clear speeches where she had mercy for none, by politically attacking their political enemies. With different methods, Boris Johnson is also worth mentioning, as he built his own rhetoric on neologisms, long and complex words, and a unique, biting, and sometimes disrespectful sense of humor. There are meaningful differences between yesterday's and today's political rhetoric in Germany and Austria too. We can notice that if we compare Willy Brandt and Heinz Christian Strache. Brandt is well known for his slow rhythm but expressive and touching speeches where he taught about détente, socialism, responsibility and mutual cooperation. Strache instead wants to use framing to spread the idea that Europe is facing an uncontrolled process of Islamization and that this would be caused by immigration. Undoubtedly, newspapers and internet play a primary role in the spread of information, which is not always correct and sometimes gets altered, filtered and distorted. It is up to us, therefore, to look for good, less rhetoric and reliable information and to share this genuine habit. Thank you.